All right, so welcome back. So now we have this beautiful animated two-dimensional rectangle. Perfect. Great. What if we wanted to control our animations, right? What if we wanted this to be interactive? So what we're going to do here is we're just going to create a very simple UI using our mouse and our keyboard to drive these same motions essentially. So first thing I want you to do is let's turn off our expressions. Okay, so we're gonna have these stationary for now. You can leave your color for now and extend your chop motion box a little more. We're gonna add some more things in here. Okay, so the first thing I want you to add is the first thing I want you to add is a mouse in. Okay, let's zoom in real quick. So as you can see with mouse in, it basically is looking at the center of your screen. Okay. So if you see the center of your screen, of your canvas, and can calculate the motion of that mouse in the X and Y. So what we're going to do is for the most part, we're just going to leave this as B. Okay, we're going to add a math in case we want to tighten up our motion. So you should always kind of get in the habit of having a math in your operator network somewhere. But for right now, we can leave it as is. Okay, and then we'll tighten it as we need to tighten. So let's call this math to, let's get our naming right. So we're going to name this mouse in one, and we're going to call that control. Okay. And we're going to call this math to mouse control. So that's the math that's controlling this mouse. Okay. And then the final thing is we just want this null. And we're actually going to bridge off of this null so you can move it over a little bit. The other thing we're going to add is a keyboard in chop. Let's go here. And we have this keyboard in chop. And if you look at it right now, it's set to look at the different keys on your mouse, or I mean on your keyboard, but we can, it's already mapped to key one. So if we press key one, you should see a value change, basically going from off to on. Okay, so you have your mouse moving and you have your key going from off to on. And we want all of this stuff to end up in this null. So let's add a merge chop here. And we're just gonna call this merge. This is our second merge in the network. So let's call this merge 2. And we're gonna call this UI control. We are gonna take our keyboard in and plug that into the merge. So now we have all three values, and then we're just gonna call this null. Let's see what we have here. This is our fourth null, so we're just gonna call this null for UI control. Okay, so we have our mouse movement, we have our keyboard button, and we have the Y, X and Y motions. Okay, So how do we use this? We're going to go to transform one. We're going to take let's turn our null viewer active. And we're just going to copy and paste our chop reference here, as you can see. So we have it moving left, moving to its left. Same thing, we're going to take our TY. Now we have X and Y motion. And the final thing is, if we go back to our network, we go to our rep1 main, and we're going to take our keyboard control and chop it onto our fill color value for the red. So we're pulsing basically from 0 to 1, even though the other colors are still being manipulated by our LFO. Now when you press the 1 button, you can animate your rectangle or your square, and you can also move it using your mouse. Okay, now think of other ways that you might manipulate this. You could add, maths so again, I said we're going to look at our math. So let's say we wanted to change this range of 0 to 1. We wanted to clamp it a little bit. We could make this 0.2 to 0.8. And now our motion is a little more central. Okay, and then we could also look at our range is going from -1 to 1. Okay, so there's a lot of things you can do. I'm gonna reset it, but there are tons of things you can do to manipulate and change your values as you see fit. All right. Well, next time we are going to look at how we can start to use switches, both switch chops and tops, and how we can use that to affect our composition.